Every keystroke leaves a fingerprint. Erasing still leaves a ghost. Welcome to CtrlAltDet with your host Block.io. Let's decrypt the truth.
February 4th, 2016. It's a Thursday night in Dhaka, Bangladesh. The offices of the Bangladesh Bank are dark, empty. The overnight staff has gone home. The lights are off. But somewhere inside those servers, something is moving. Not someone, something. Code. Quiet, patient, invisible code that has been sitting dormant inside Bangladesh Bank's systems for over a year. And tonight, it wakes up. You're listening to CtrlAltDet, the podcast where we follow the digital trails of the world's most audacious cybercriminals. Today, we're cracking open one of the most staggering heists in financial history. Not a single gun was fired. No one wore a mask. No getaway car peeled out of a parking lot. This robbery happened in the dark, between lines of code, across international wire transfers, and through a global banking system that almost nobody understood well enough to stop it. This is the story of the Bangladesh bank hack. The day faceless thieves attempted to steal $951 million and were stopped, in the end, by a single misspelled word. Sit tight. This one goes deep. We need to go back to early 2015, maybe even earlier. Bangladesh Bank, the central bank of Bangladesh, held an account at the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. This is completely standard. Central banks all over the world keep reserve accounts at the New York Fed. It's how international finance works. Bangladesh Bank's account held about $1 billion. That's a lot of money to leave sitting in a pipe. In early 2015, someone sent Bangladesh Bank an email, a job application, totally routine. Except the attachment wasn't a resume. It was malware. Specifically, a piece of custom-built malicious software. The kind that slides through your email client like smoke under a door, installs itself without a sound, and then just waits. Security researchers later called it one of the most sophisticated banking trojans they had ever analyzed. It was designed to do one thing: understand the SWIFT network. For those who don't know, SWIFT stands for the Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunication. It's the messaging system that banks use to transfer money internationally. If you've ever sent a wire transfer overseas, it went through SWIFT. Think of it as the email system for moving billions of dollars. The malware inside Bangladesh Bank's network spent months learning. It watched how SWIFT transactions were formatted. It studied operator credentials. It mapped the daily rhythms of the bank: when people logged in, when they logged out, when the office went quiet. It was patient. It was precise. And by early 2016, it was ready. February 4th, 2016, a Thursday. The attackers chose this date deliberately. Bangladesh observes the Islamic weekend. Friday and Saturday are days off. So Thursday night in Bangladesh was the perfect time to strike. The offices would be empty for days. Meanwhile, across the world, the New York Fed's weekend started on Saturday. The attackers had a narrow window, and they used every second of it. Using stolen SWIFT credentials, the attackers began submitting transfer requests from Bangladesh Bank's account at the New York Fed. Not one request, not 5, 35 requests. A cascade of transactions totaling $951 million to be distributed across accounts in the Philippines and Sri Lanka. The New York Fed received the requests and began processing them, because to its systems, everything looked completely legitimate. The right credentials, the right formatting, the right codes. This wasn't brute force. This was forgery so perfect, it was nearly invisible. 5 requests, totaling approximately $101 million, went through before anything went wrong. And what went wrong was not a sophisticated alarm system, not a cybersecurity AI, not a federal alert. It was a printer. Bangladesh Bank had a physical printer that automatically logged all SWIFT transactions. That printer had gone offline. When staff came in Friday morning and found it silent, they rebooted it. When the logs finally printed, they saw a list of outgoing transactions they had never authorized. Panic. They tried to contact the New York Fed, but it was Saturday in New York. The Fed was closed. They sent frantic SWIFT messages. No response. They called. They emailed. They waited. By the time the New York Fed opened Monday morning, 5 transfers totaling $101 million had already landed in accounts in the Philippines. The money was moving fast, being converted to casino chips, laundered through the gambling system, and withdrawn as cash. Digital money becoming physical money, disappearing into the economy. Of the 30 remaining transfer requests, the New York Fed had flagged them, not because of sophisticated fraud detection, because of a spelling error. One of the recipient bank names, supposedly the Shalika Foundation, had been written as Foundation. F-A-N-D-A-T-I-O-N. $900 million. Stopped by a typo. Of the 101 million that got through, authorities eventually recovered about 38 million. The rest, $63 million, evaporated. Laundered through casinos, passed through shell accounts, and gone. Investigators, including teams from BAE Systems, FireEye, and eventually the FBI, began piecing together the digital forensics, the malware, the infrastructure, the patterns. What they found sent a chill through the global intelligence community. The code bore striking similarities to malware used in other major cyber attacks, including the 2014 hack of Sony Pictures. The same custom tools, the same coding style, the same operational fingerprints. The U.S. Department of Justice eventually indicted a North Korean national named Park Jin-hyuk, a member of a group the security industry had nicknamed the Lazarus Group, a hacking collective allegedly operating under the direct direction of North Korea's intelligence apparatus, the Reconnaissance General Bureau. The Lazarus Group is believed to be responsible for billions of dollars in cryptocurrency theft, ransomware attacks on hospitals, and financial cyber attacks on banks across Asia, Europe, and North America. They are sophisticated. They are state-sponsored. And they are almost certainly still active right now, as you listen to this. The Bangladesh bank heist was not a one-off. It was not an accident. It was not desperation. It was practice. The global banking system processes trillions of dollars every day on trust. Trust that the credentials are valid. Trust that the message really came from who it says it came from. The Lazarus Group found the crack in that trust, and they nearly drove $1 billion through it. Here's what I want you to sit with after this episode. The attackers didn't need guns. They didn't need to step foot inside a bank. They didn't even need to be in the same hemisphere. They needed patience, access, and knowledge of the system, and they had all three. What keeps me up at night isn't that it happened. It's how close it came to being perfect. If that printer had been working, maybe no one checks the logs until Monday. If the Fed's routing filters hadn't caught the typo, $900 million more disappears. If the casino operators in Manila had been less cooperative, that money is gone. Forever. The difference between a $63 million heist and $1 billion one was a busted printer and and a misspelled word. In cybercrime, the margin between catastrophe and calamity is often razor thin. And the people trying to find those margins, they're not slowing down. That's episode 2 of No Fluff, Truth, and Cybercriminals, the $951 million typo. If this story grabbed you, and honestly, how could it not, hit subscribe wherever you're listening. Leave us a review. Tell someone who thinks cybercrime is just for sci-fi movies. Next week, we're going somewhere darker. A young man with a physics degree, a libertarian manifesto, and a laptop built a billion-dollar criminal empire on the dark web. And he was caught because he used his real Gmail address. That's next week on CtrlAltDet. I'm your host. This is CtrlAltDet. Stay paranoid, stay curious, and always, always check your printer logs.